Thank you to Peter, much appreciated. Can't stress enough, these final 5 weeks, Peter will be sharing his information. Peter, how do they reach you? Do you have a quick email address, or can they?
Yes, it's
okay.
peter@petergenta.com.
It's peter@petergenta.com, and I believe that's G as in George, I as in igloo, right? U as in under, right? N-T-A, right? Peter@petergenta.com. All right, so guys, that final stretch is important. I don't know if you guys heard how much Peter stressed, like you don't want to overstretch your volunteers. So aside from sharing Peter's contact info, once again, for those that join us a little bit later, but we've got representatives from Fordham University's GOP, NYU GOP, as well as Baruch GOP. They are joining us as Gen Z today, just looking to meet candidates that may also need support, and I will help coordinate with them in order to make sure if there's a couple deployments needed, what we can do to potentially help, and I'm sure Peter, if it's feasible, he'll point us in the direction of volunteers as well. Fordham University, from visiting and speaking on campus with them this past Monday, we realized is in a favorable district. That's Christy Marmano's district in the Bronx. Okay? Also, election day, guys. Just when I thought we're making it to the finish line, election day was going to be, whew, okay, we're good. You know, last day, boy, was it a second total process needed, strategy needed. Because here I am, when I ran in 21, going into election day, I was like, I'm going to visit a couple poll sites, you know, meet voters, say, hey, I'm Vanessa, nice to meet you. I'll have some of my team with me. I show up on election day, guys, I was blown away. The Democrats staffed 4 to 6 people per poll site. So as you're approaching the poll sites, and remember, they're paid, right? We don't have that yet. We've just got proud patriots willing to volunteer, and I'm one of them. But imagine being staffed from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. They're paid each poll site, and some districts have like upwards of 6 to 9 poll sites, bigger districts 11 poll sites. That's an army that I didn't anticipate, and no one shared with me. And when I got there, I felt deflated, right? I was so excited. I was casting a vote, first time voting for myself. And I walk into the poll site, a majority of the poll workers volunteering are Democrat. So as I go in, family's with me, taking pictures, Vanessa's voting for herself. I'm like, yeah, I'm voting for myself. And they're like, oh, really? Like, my best friend's running. What race are you running for? I'm like, city council. And guess who her best friend was? My opponent. So I was like, wow. So it's two-pronged, right? First, the staffing outside. It's optics, people, right? You walk in, I had no one representing for me outside, let alone 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Each site I went to, big posters, handing out pamphlets. Then you get inside, and we don't have people volunteering as poll workers, right? So when we talk about election integrity, it happens in both places. I'm going to be honest. Whether it was heavily a Democrat district or Republican district, we just need presence in these spaces is what I'm sharing, right? And restoring balance, because we're in a blue state. So that's where we're here to share with one another what are the things that we can do to help, right? And definitely volunteering on election day, asking what poll site you could either stand outside of, or looking into your election district to see where your poll site is, to volunteer as a poll worker. Because it's important. Because believe it or not, the lack of civics education in general that's absent, right? A lot of people don't understand what their responsibility is as someone that wants to be civically engaged. Down to the point where when it's time to fill out the ballot, people aren't aware that you can split ballot, right? I like this mayor, this is a Republican mayor, but you know what? My city council person right here who's a Democrat, they actually are about common sense. Oh, I want to vote for them. A lot of voters don't know that. They think they just gotta vote down the line. So it's one of those things where when you think about it, if we're absent from these spaces, like poll sites, what side of the conversation they're gonna have? One side of the conversation. It's the left side, right? So just food for thought. I want to welcome our next speaker, and I want to do a better introduction because Nicole has quite the resume. we have Nicole Kipperlove joining us.